Hello, my name is Sanchez, and I'm here to talk about how the covers of Vogue magazine have changed over the past century. Ever since I was little, I've always loved looking through magazines, seeing all the pretty clothes and the women within them. So when Miss Ports told us that we were doing a genre archival, this was the first thing that popped into my mind. It's been really interesting to see, within just my lifetime, how much the fashion industry has changed, so I was really interested to see how it's changed in the past century. To start off with, I'm going to give you a little bit of background so you know exactly what Vogue is. Vogue states that its purpose is to have a unique role as a cultural barometer for a global audience. It also places fashion in a context of culture and the world that we live in, so how we eat and how we dress, socialize, what we listen to and watch, and what leads us and what inspires us. Vogue also shows through each of its volumes what styles are popular within each year. Now that we've learned a little bit of what Vogue does and is, we can get to what we really came here for. The archives. Based on my analysis, Vogue covers have developed over time by changing from art-based covers that only portray white women to inclusive stories that show the character of a person on the cover. To start off with, we're going to head back to the 1920s to see where this all started and to see what they did for their covers. So as you can see here, they had no actual pictures on their covers and not a whole lot of writing either, as they didn't have the technology to produce such works. So they used a form of art called Art Deco to produce the fashions that you would see back in the 1920s. Like I said, they displayed no other words other than just Vogue and maybe the time that this issue was being sold. But other than that, they kept it fairly simple. Some of the other forms had a lot more color, a lot more art style to them than this one, but this one was one of the most simplistic ones that I chose just to show what they did back into the 1920s. Adding on to the display of this cover, you can see that the man and the woman are both white. This is because the race problems in the United States and honestly in the whole world were not as they are today. So you're going to only see white people in the covers for a good amount of time until maybe the late 1900s. Moving on to the 1950s, you can see here that the cover changes to actual pictures of women now. And in the 50s, there's a shift from the crazy Art Deco style of it to a very simplistic style where most of the backgrounds are going to be just blank white with your black writing on the background. And you can see that they add in different things as the 90-day plan and menu schemes, but they're not going to say a whole lot. They want to keep it very simple, very elegant, as the time of the 50s was all about grace and everything. You're typically only going to see about waist up of the women, as this woman is full length, but most of the other ones will be only waist up. And like I said, the women on these covers are going to be just primarily white, as we are getting into the civil rights movement within the 60s. The upcoming years are going to be pivotal in how people are portrayed within media, so you'll see a shift in how the women are shown on these magazines. Moving on to the 80s, you can see a clear shift in how the covers are designed. You can see that the Vogue colors in itself change as the letters change different colors from just black. You can see that they add in more words to describe the stories and the pictures that are going to be within the magazine itself. And the women, they're going to have more of an up-close and personal picture that display more of their lips and their eyes, as this seemed to be an interesting thing that the 80s thought that was a trend. And you can also see a diverse cast of people that are going to be modeling on these covers. Also, the words that are going to be on this cover are going to be a very minimal amount, as the audience that they are trying to attract are still only focusing on who is in the picture and what they look like, rather than what it has to say within the magazine itself. By the 2000s, the covers have changed from a very personal, up-close shot of the woman to a very far away picture to show the woman and the fashion. The pictures are also going to display a variety of different backgrounds, as it has shifted from just a studio background to outside or in different warehouses or something different, to show that the personality of the person does really matter. The words on the cover really show what's in the magazine, as the audience now really cares about what they have to say within the magazine itself, along with the fashion. As you can see, the women are sitting back to where you can see all of what they are wearing, and typically they're going to be sitting down so you can see what every aspect of their style is. Now we are entering 2019, the year that we are now. The covers have changed so much over time, but I think this is where the pivotal point is. We have included so many different races of women, so many backgrounds of women, not just models. We have actresses, activists, anyone that you can think of who is in the popular realm of people. You can see that there is a messy look that is fancy, that there is more diversity, that there are multiple people in one shot rather than it just being one woman. And they're going to be more experimental with their hair, with the makeup, with the location. It's just going to be a very wide variety of things that they could have never done back in the past without the technology that they have today. And it's not just young women. There are going to be older actresses, older television hosts, older women, younger women. It's a very wide variety of everyone. And the pictures in themselves really display who the women are rather than just showing the fashion, and it's giving more empowerment to the women to actually be able to choose what they want to do with the pictures and everything. As we can see that the feminist movement have come up, that the modest movement have come up with hijabs and everything, normalizing that, showing that women who do dress modestly, who do wear hijabs, are not something that are an anomaly. It's just really showing that women can be who they want to be and be beautiful within their own eyes. And I think that's what they're shifting towards today, is to show different stories of different women and their aspects on life and everything. Through my archival analysis, I was able to see what shifts Vogue has made to keep up with what society deems as important. The 20s, it was art. The 50s, it was grace. The 80s, it was pops of color. 2000s was glam, and in 2019, it's empowering all women, no matter what shape, religion, or race they are. It's shifted from a very objective view of women and their fashion to a more personal connection for all women that is shown through fashion.
My toes look like dinosaur toes.
Adding on to